What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show.
Shady's not here today. Muted.
Shady is not here today.
I knew it. That guy.
We got you back.
I knew he was going to be slacking. Hey guys, how you doing? I made it back.
Shady Groove, Shady taking the days off. I tell you.
Well, let me tell you. Like yesterday was not a good day. Like I had not only did the computer not work yesterday, but I had a great and wonderful Yeti up until 2 a.m. in the morning trying to put this thing back together because it was literally spread across the internet. So thank you so much for this great producer. Otherwise, I would be doing this by the phone again today.
Yeah. Real Iron Eagle, let's do some more winning. Let's do this. Thank you for that. Land of Hoya, 5 subscriptions. Thank you. 17 Pages for Truth, 1 subscription. And Storm Rider, 94. We got you 5 subscriptions. Thank you so much. And by the way, I want to thank Tofnit for the $500 donation on GiveSendGo. GiveSendGo.com/helpmgshow. Thank you for that. I don't know how to tell you, that means so much to us, and it allows us to, actually try to pay some bills, Shady.
I know. We'd really appreciate all of you guys, and we actually appreciate the effort to keep this show on the air. And I think that everybody is realizing why it was so important to make sure that we stayed on the air, right? I didn't see a lot of other people that were calling out the whole Bannon crew. I didn't see a lot of other people calling out the whole Flynn Network crew. Didn't see a lot of other people standing up and explaining what Q explained to you about the Alex Jones InfoWars network either. It's funny how everybody decided to forget. Whenever people start getting clicky, they start forgetting. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever they start getting clickbait, they start getting forgetful.
That's right. And Pilot Brady's here. What's up, Pilot Brady? Good to see you here. Let's go MG Show twice. You can say that again. We love you guys. Thank you, Tofnit. Thank you so much. There she is in chat. That's her.
God bless you.
God bless you. And we love you so much. We cannot do this without you. And we're very, 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 very happy for that. Gosh, I tell you, takes a little heat off, doesn't it, Shady?
It really does. And it also it makes it it also tells us that what we're doing is valuable to you. That's a big deal for us. Considering, it'd be one thing if people had left us alone, but the idea of being drugged through the ringer of censorship over the last 8 years to try to erode every ounce of credibility that we have by taking away our voice instead of arguing with us. Like I'm willing to argue with any of these people, and none of them want to argue. They just want to call us names and censor.
So you saw that Tommy Boy guy, right? A lot of people are following that guy on TikTok, and he's on what is he, the MAGA guy 420 or something like that on X. And the Antifa people want to silence him and get him removed, right?
Yeah.
Because they're free speech. They're in there on their TikTok saying, "Oh, we're free speech," and then I say something positive about Trump and I get kicked out. That's not free speech, guys.
It's not free speech.
That's, somebody's not agreeing with you and you kick them out. So I don't agree with General Flynn. Okay? I don't agree with him. He's not in Trump's administration. I don't agree with Bannon in a lot of things either. He's funded by Miles Gow guys. He's to say and they're saying the same thing that the Free Palestine people are and the Antifas are saying. This show, Shady, is different than everybody else. And it's funny, on Rumble, we barely get, we get a lot more views and listens on our podcast, just so you guys know. But on Rumble, we're going against the narrative that Donald Trump wants us to go against, and we're censored.
Yeah.
Even on Rumble.
Everybody else is elevated, though. If you need to get your heaping helping of, Israel did it, or Charlie Kirk's still alive, or the Jeffrey Epstein files. Well, that's going to be the top number one videos on this platform, and unfortunately, that is true.
Yeah, it's sad, and it's interesting too. We got Kash Patel was on what's his name, John Solomon last night, Shady Groove, and he said exactly what we've been saying. It's almost like, remember when I said, Shady, it's almost like they don't want this guy to get convicted, Shady, because
they're trying to obfuscate the investigation or mess up the investigation.
Correct. Yes. So basically, when you have a harmful let's just read this to you. When you have harmful conspiracy theories filling the void on social media, you're harming Charlie and his family and the rightful prosecution of the alleged assassin we have in custody. Let's listen. And I'm standing behind this.
The militant trans issue really became familiar to the American people last month when Charlie Kirk was killed. I mean, you guys at breakneck speed found this guy, you identified him, you profiled the type of person that he would be, and that's incredible. Is there more evidence that you guys can offer to people, maybe video from that roof? Do you expect that there will be more to be released?
I think the best thing we can do for Charlie, especially me as FBI director and our team, is to prosecute this case in the courts of law, where it is, in Utah, in the state of court of law. And what we're going to do is what we've done. Give them every piece of evidence we collect. Our cellular analysis systems are the best in the world, and that's what the FBI does, and that's what we flew in and did. That's how we led the manhunt and got him in 33 short hours. And every single piece of video or forensic evidence or witness interview, we've done dozens and dozens, gone on these platforms, found every single person. All of that material, and I know this is frustrating to the public, and I understand it, but I'm not going to allow the Charlie Kirk prosecution to be dismantled because we want to get over our skis and publicize information. That is the one thing you cannot do. We will make everything public in court. It just takes time.
It does. Yeah, it always does in these cases. Is there any possibility that other people were involved? When you talked at the White House, I sort of got a little inkling that maybe you're looking at other people. We're
looking at everyone that was there, that was online, and we're looking to refer these matters to the state prosecution authorities when there's enough evidence. But the reality is, again, with social media, when you have hysterical conspiracy theories filling the void, you're harming Charlie and his family and a rightful prosecution of his alleged assassin.
The microphone killed him, Shady. I had a dream because I'm Candace Owens. These people are butthurt. So essentially, Land of Hoya, you're right. Kash is calling out Candace, Tucker, and AJ. Let me just continue, Shady.
Who we have in custody, and rightly so, in my opinion. And if anyone helped him, do you think that we at this FBI are literally going to let them get away with it? Us standing silent in the face of growing conspiracy theories, that's what we do to shut down.
You see, they said glowing conspiracy theories.
They did.
Faulty prosecution. That's what we do to shut down a system of justice that wants to be exploited by these same anarchists. And that's what they're doing. They're bringing it to social media. They're bringing it online for clickbait, and we're not going to take it. We don't care what you say about me or Dan Bongino or anyone in leadership at the FBI. They're just going to keep doing the work.
Did you hear that, Script Keeper?
Wow, guys. Wow.
Yeah. We're on the right side, guys, and we're always on the right side, aren't we? Isn't that weird how that works?
It's always because we are following provable facts, Jeff. And the reality of the situation is, I'm arguing with people about this yesterday. They're like, oh, go look at this video. Go look at this video. I've seen your videos, guys. Oh, well, you're not willing to ask questions or look. No, I've already looked. I'm not buying into your BS. They're trying to sell this whole idea that he was like shot with the microphone. First, it was like, the cell phone gun from the side. Then it's the microphone. Now they're trying to say that it's an exit wound out the front. If that was an exit wound out the front, then the bullet would have clearly hit someone else in the audience. It's so stupid, Jeff. And the reality of the situation is, like, think about this just for a second. Think about it. Think about what they're doing. They don't know anything. They don't know anything because they're not part of this investigation, guys. Okay? And Kash Patel doesn't owe us squat, Jeff. He doesn't owe us anything. The only thing that man owes us is a conviction in this case. That's what he owes us. He owes us to prosecute the case and to not screw it up and to make sure that person and the people that he was working with, if he were working with anyone, we don't even know that for sure. If that comes out, then it comes out. You're going to see the case. But the reality of the situation is, these people, these people are acting like these MJ Truth and Candace Owens are acting like that he has to come out and give some sort of like statement or to give you evidence. That if he gives you the evidence that they have, that's giving the defense information that they aren't privy to. To prosecute him. I mean, it's unbelievable what they're doing, Jeff. And it's unbelievable because we can connect it all to these networks. All of these networks are connected to someone who's associated with Alex Jones or a rogue military general. Every one of them. And now they're like brandishing their threats directly on the Trump administration. Oh, the temperature is going to go up 1 degree every day. He's talking about Trump's administration, guys. Donald Trump is in charge.
Yeah. Kash also said these narratives are by these same anarchists, guys.
Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, those people are anarchists at their core. Because
man, that's whack, man. That's whack.
They don't want it. They're not looking for the truth. They're looking for the gaslighting. They're looking for the virtue signal.
Yeah, and I want to thank Lincoln Logger. Thank you so much. That was a clip that you did right here. He's Smoking Aces 17.
The militant trans issue.
Oops. On X, guys, I'm going to give you this post here. You can, repost mine or repost his. It doesn't matter. The information needs to get out. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Kash, really. I mean, actually, it's thank you to Kash.
Yeah.
Because what he's doing here is an immense service to all of the people that, there's, like I said, conspiracy theorists aren't the same thing as truth seekers. Okay. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I have never been a conspiracy theorist. That's a label that is put on me by the government. These people like Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, there's professional conspiracy theorists. It's entertainment. It's like turning on the TV and watching whatever dumb show you like to watch on TV. Like, that's who these people are. They are not trying to get to the bottom of anything, and they're not trying to actually give you information that can help you propel your life forward. We're moving into the golden age, and these people are still in the Cold War.
Yeah. And let's move on to that same interview, but I want to remind you of this right here during the Antifa roundtable. Check this out.
We will not rest until we find every single seed, money, donor, organization, and funding mechanism that we have. And I want to echo the Secretary's comments on Scott Bessent, who's allowing us to map out these networks through their financial criminal activities, which has been going on for decades. And I would like to remind the American public, they built this disease temple of corruption over decades. And in 8 short months, Mr. President, you have crippled their foundation because of your leadership here, because of the interagency, because of people like Deputy Attorney General.
Think down. I'm going to bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's got to be biblical.
And it's going to be biblical, Shady Grove. And so last night, yesterday, on that same interview, there's another diseased temple of corruption, pesky Q proof from Kash Patel. That post 3828 is a Q post to that law-abiding citizen clip. It's going to be biblical. Let's watch, Shady Grove. Check this out. Wow.
Last question. All the things that you've seen, all the weaponization you've uncovered since you came in and found these secret files or restricted files, all those things, Beyond those who are already charged, do you think you've seen other crimes that might eventually get referred to justice?
Yes, we are looking at so many different leads on criminal activity by those who are in positions of power. And we're not going to stop until every single one of those is fully exposed. The documents are provided either to Congress or the courts of law, and make every referral we can to the Department of Justice. These indictments that you've seen and the ones that you're going to see coming up here in this near future are just the beginning. But I have to remind the audience one thing. Everybody's like, it's 7 months. What have you guys been doing?
Yeah.
Well, they spent 20 years building this diseased temple of corruption. It takes a little bit of time to defeat it and beat it down. And I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to look at the work the men and women of the FBI have done so far in these 7-8 months and just imagine what we're going to do come the year end.
The FBI looks a lot more like the one I covered 20, 30 years ago than the one I had to endure and cover the last 10 years. And that's a great credit to you, Director. There's no doubt about it. The president said it today. We know it's true.
And so I love what Solomon said there. This is not the FBI that we were so sus of when they were like saying to parents that you're a terrorist because you went to your school board meetings. This is Kash Patel, Trump, Bondi. This is our administration, okay? I understand people had conspiracy theories on the past one, and, you know, we did too. They were definitely covering it up. We have proof of it. But we don't have proof of the silly, stupid stuff that people are posting on X or on Facebook. I want proof. My mind can't not have proof. If you say I had a dream that Charlie can't, that's not proof. Okay, we understand how people, you know, use language to fool people. And Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, all these people, Alex Jones, they're all lying to you because they need clicks. I'm not going to do clickbait, Shady, because apparently the truth is boring.
Man, well, listen. What do you never hear them say? You never hear them say Mossad. They always say Israel. They always say Bibi. They never really talk about Mossad. They never really talk about the underbelly. And then what they're trying to do is they try to say somehow that Mossad puppets the CIA. Okay? Yeah. That's what they're trying to do. Guys, listen, I'm going to explain something to you. Israeli intelligence does not puppet the CIA. Okay? I don't know who the hell has tried to convince the world of this and whatever it is that they're trying to do. Okay? They are essentially the same thing. Hamas, the CIA, and the Mossad are the same thing, okay? Muslim Brotherhood, the same thing. BLM, the same thing. Antifa, the same thing. The cartel, the same thing, okay? Where does it all hail from? It hails from on high, and it hails from a country in Europe, okay? That's where it all comes from, and no one talks about any of that. They talk about the Jews. And they talk about Israel, and they say that it's Bibi Netanyahu. But what we see is Bibi Netanyahu actually going and being pretty much what I don't even know what the word is. Like
he's Trump's puppet now. How about that? He's being
completely puppeted by Trump. That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly right. I'm watching it. It's happening. I can't deny it. I can't sit here and pretend like dismiss everything I see happening. This is what they expect you to do. They want you to dismiss everything that you see with your two lying eyes and believe them. That's the difference between what we're doing here. We're trying to show you that you actually can believe your eyes. You can use your own discernment, and you can come to your own conclusions. And sometimes they match ours. Sometimes they don't. That's amazing. That's what's amazing about being America. But the idea that they all tried to silence us because we were telling you that is very relevant.
Yeah, it is. And again, I'm just going to play this again. It's worth remembering.
People who still come to me all the time and say, Bill, you're all wrong. It's the Jews. The Jews are subverting the world. Man, it's not the Jews. It's not the Catholics. It's not the blacks. It's these men who belong to the ancient mystery schools, who meet in secret and decide the fate of the world. And they belong to all different races and all different nationalities and all different religions to the public point of view. But in secret, it's a different story.
Exactly right. In secret, they want a one world religion. In secret, they want a one world financial system, a one world military. They don't want individual countries. This is the reason why we call it globalism. And this is the reason what Trump is doing is so dynamic, because a bilateral negotiation, we've talked about this before, between America and another country undermines globalism, because they wanted free trade for everybody. That's globalism. They wanted everything to be equal so that they could say that everybody has an equal amount of nothing. Okay, that's their idea. one religion, one financial system, one military action, all under one roof. That's what they were trying to engineer. That means you have to take down all of the dividing lines that make us unique and individual. That's why we're under assault by these people in America.
Yeah, there it is. It's not the Jews. Repost that if you understand how it's really working. Because, Q asked us to follow the bloodlines. The bloodlines are the people that manage these cults, guys.
The bloodlines aren't the Jews.
Exactly right.
Even though they try to twist it and make it think, that's what they try to make you think that we're
anti-Semitic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But really, you can quite clearly see, I think that they're the ones that are anti-Semitic. I'm not pro-Antifa, even a little bit.
Do people even know who Sem is?
No, they do
what
not.
Anti-Semitic really means?
Have no idea.
I bet they don't even know what it means, Shady.
They have no idea what a Semite is. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so just crazy, guys. Well,
good, Jeff. I mean, it's good because look at the way we're able to navigate it. It seems overwhelming. Are we cozy? Are we comfy? Are you guys afraid? Is anybody nervous? None of us are. The only people I see nervous, dude, are the Adam Schiffs and the General Flynn's and the Ivan Ranklins of the world. Those people, Nancy Pelosi, those people seem extremely animated right now. I'm calm as a cucumber.
Yeah. Here we go, Shady. I'm going to play this again just because I like it.
Welcome to the MG Show.
The future.
Welcome.
That's so great, Shady.
It's going to be so much more. Like this is how we control our complexion as we get older, Jeff.
That's right. We're just going to become animated characters.
We're
animatronics like Jekyll Island deer.
Yes.
All right. So we got that. Sheesh. I want to kind of go through, wow. I just want to go through this. President Trump holds this press conference with Kash Patel. There's so much in here that's just unbelievable. And I did not watch the whole thing. And I'm sure we're going to pick up things in here, Shady, while we watch it. But this is pretty amazing.
I actually did hear this yesterday whenever I was getting chores done in town. And like I said, whenever I was just talking about all the people that are nervous, I think the people are around January 6th. I think all these people are really nervous. All this information is coming out about the phones, and, the pipe bomb.
So John Solomon, So John Solomon found that they were recording the phones. And whose phones do you think are going to be there? Do you think the Proud Boys phones are going to be there?
I do. I think all the Jake Lang's phones.
Do you think the Oath Keepers phones are going to be there? Do you think they're going to be right next to Antifa if they mapped them?
Absolutely do. Do you think that I think that some of them are going to be associated with the people that got into the Capitol early, even because they were on the grounds earlier in the day, getting everything set up. They had to get the noose built.
Yeah.
They had to get everything all like geared. They had to get the Antifa inside the building so that they could be like appear out of nowhere with bats. Those people all had cell phones. None of them were doing that without one. And now there's 30 million lines of cell phone code. It seems to be like making its way to the public discourse.
Yeah. Oh, I have a special announcement, Shady.
You do?
Yeah.
For me?
I need you guys to go to YouTube, if you guys still have your YouTube, and I need you guys to go subscribe to Truth for Freedom. It came back. This is Shady's channel. Before we met, he set this up, and there's only about maybe 13 or 14 videos that actually stayed. We're going to have to get one off because it was an epic day, we thought, but now we know it's not. But this is Truth for Freedom. 16,000 subscribers. Go to Truth for Freedom. YouTube.com/C/Truth for Freedom. Get over there and subscribe. Maybe we'll go live from there one day, Shady.
It might happen, and we might be on the. It seems like there's little steps in the snow back towards an In the Matrix channel happening over there. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Let's hold our breath.
Let's not. I almost said that, but it might take a little longer than that. So I wanted you to finish breathing for the show because we still have. I mean, we're still in the middle of this, bro. We're only half an hour in.
Not have your stuff that might indicate that they have upwards of 29 to 30 million views in the world.
He's gonna
Out of Shadows.
Lynn's a hero.
Yeah, that's Out of Shadows, Shady.
I know. Some of that's going to be embarrassing now.
Isn't it funny that all of your videos, except for the Flynn and the Mike Smiths and the ones when we were actually thinking they were good people, are the only ones that are here?
All of the Q lounges I did and all of the historical information that I presented over the period of like 8-10 months is all gone. And they left the video promoting That's actually the video where Joe told us that they used Arabella advisors.
And that you are a shady character.
And I'm a shady character. And boy, that turned out to be right.
Wow.
I'm telling you. I'm going to go to this AI thing.
All right, so let's go to live President Trump. This was live yesterday. I mean, it's hard to keep up with this man. He's amazing. And this show follows Donald J. Trump. We don't follow anybody else. Maybe Kash Patel and, some other people in the administration.
People that Trump put in his cabinet, I am willing to, I don't, listen, guys, I've seen the rhetoric. I've seen them attack Grinnell. I've seen them attack Bondi. I've seen them attack Patel. I've seen them attack Bongino. I've seen them attack Susie Wiles. I've seen them attack Chris I'll never say what his name is. Now they're attacking the guy that ran the RNC, Watley, who's running in North Carolina. They are not MAGA, guys. They're all trying to, Ian Carroll's, Alex, they're all trying, Nick Fuentes, they're trying to divide MAGA on the subject of Israel. Remember, it doesn't matter which side of the subject they get you on. They're just trying to divide people up. This is the same thing that they did all the time that I was making those shows with the Discord. Every day it's trying to divide people along the lines of disagreement as opposed to have a conversation about whatever it is your stupid problem is.
Crazy how that works. And Antifa is saying the same thing.
They say the same thing. They don't want anybody to go watch their protest. Jeff, why the hell would I go protest? I thought a protest was like a parade with a cause. You're supposed to go watch it.
They have balloon animals.
At the ice. Have contaminated bicycles. It's what they have.
So, guys, if you guys are going to go out to one of your No Kings protests, just go out and interview them. I mean, do you realize that the Communist Party is sponsoring this? Are you communist? Ask them. Ask them point blank.
And I have some, in case you're thinking about going to see the No Kings thing this weekend. Jeff was just mentioning that they're getting their little Halloween costumes that are like, they're air-filled costumes that they're walking around in looking like cartoons. What you need is fart spray, okay? And you just walk up to the side of those things, and they got the little ventilator right there on the side, and you just give it a little spray right there in that vent, and the next thing you know, that little Tifa will be trying to get out of that.
Tifa. Also, real quick, I want to just show you this. This resurfaced. Don Jr. posted something about The View, but isn't it a coincidence that V looks eerily like Ingsoc from 1984? I mean, I'm sure it's a coincidence. Or is it Orwellian vibes, Shady Group?
I think that's part of the noticing that this channel has done. Fast.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure it's a coincidence.
Noticing will continue.
Let's go over to Donald J. Trump holding this news conference on crime. Significant, Shady Group. What is it? Significant. Oh, yeah. Tout significant crime fighting efforts. I had to remember what my own thing was.
Well, it was when I
campaigned.
Multi-effort today.
What?
Pelosi Snaps. That was the best part of the
title. That's coming up. Let's check this out.
In conflict, amazing. But we're here for a different reason. It's called Operation Summer Heat, which is an appropriate...
Oh, wait. Shady. What was the operation called?
August?
What?
He said Operation Summer Heat.
Yeah.
It was.
Is
August.
That a cute proof?
It was hot.
The month of okay. So look at this. So while Congress is away, let me just get it over here. Here it is. While Congress is away, the month of August is traditionally a really hot month. Nature is unpredictable. Interesting. Huh. All right. Summer heat. Got it.
Term in light of what we're doing. And early yesterday morning, I returned from the Middle East, where we celebrated a historic agreement to end years of suffering and conflict. Amazing. Every country came together. I mean, even the enemies came out and totally endorsed it. Everybody, I've never seen anything like it. Nobody's seen anything like it. And just as we are forging peace and stability abroad, we're also restoring peace and safety and stability at home. And you see that in Washington, D.C., maybe better than any place, because we got there, and within 12 days, it was very good. And within 30 days, it's been as safe as any city in the country. It's been great. Took out 1,700 people, got them out. These are career criminals in many cases, and people that shouldn't have been allowed in by the Biden administration. Historically, the summer months have been a time when violent crime soar, as you know, but not under President Trump. Today, we're announcing the results of a sweeping law enforcement effort known as Operation Summer Heat. We were in many cities that people didn't know about. We kept it a little quiet, and it had a big impact, and you'll hear that in a second. But over the past few months, FBI offices in all 50 states made crushing violent crime a top enforcement priority. That's what they did, rounding up and arresting thousands of the most violent and dangerous criminals. And these are among the most dangerous and violent people in the world. They were allowed, in many cases, not in all cases, but in many cases, they were allowed in by a very foolish, actually stupid, open border policy. Just anybody could have come in. They emptied out their jails, their prisons, their mental institutions. They emptied them into our country. And the people behind me have done an incredible job, because if we didn't have that administration, it would have been so much easier. They allowed millions of people in this country that shouldn't have been allowed, including over 11,000 murderers, half of whom murdered more than one person. And many of them are gone now, or they're put in prison, because we don't want to have them come back. So we literally put them in our prison, which we don't want to do. But we bring them back to their countries. Working with state and local partners, the FBI arrested over 8,000 violent criminals during the course of this period. In major cities like in New Orleans, Nashville, we saw a 250% increase in arrests. And we really went after the bad ones. These include 725 individuals wanted for violent crimes against children and murderers. These arrests are in addition to the work of our historic federal task forces that make DC Safe Task Force has been unbelievable. I mean, the job they've done, it's incredible. And it's been so nice, because so many people, they're going out to dinner and they're having dinners. They didn't go out for 4 years. And now they're going out 3 times a week. Restaurants are opening. Restaurants are full. And usually that means a lot of good things. But restaurants that were closed are now opening up. And everybody's happy. It's nobody's ever seen anything like it, actually. And everybody feels safe. You can have a child walk right through the middle of Washington, D.C., and nothing's going to happen. We were losing more than one person a week in Washington. They're being killed on an average of over one a week. The Make DC Safe Task Force has been incredible. And the Make Memphis Safe Task Force is having very similar results. It's much earlier, but we've been there for a week and a half, but I'm hearing the results are pretty incredible, and you'll hear about that. They're mobilizing more than 20 federal agencies for the largest law enforcement operation targeting violent criminals in American history. As a result of these efforts, violent crime declined nearly 20% nationwide compared to the same period last year, and it was the safest and most peaceful summer in 2 decades. And honestly, we haven't really even gotten going yet. If we didn't have to fight all of these radical left governors, we could have had Chicago taken care of, as an example. They had, in a short period of time, 4,000 murders in Chicago, and we have to listen to this man stand up and say that we're bad people. And the people of Chicago are walking around with MAGA hats. You have women, beautiful black women, walking around with MAGA hats. Please let the president in, and we don't care how he does it. They're not interested in National Guard or Army, Navy, bring them in, Marines, bring in the Marines. They just want the crime to stop. And more so because of the success that we had in D.C. I think if we didn't have that success, nobody would even believe it. So I want to congratulate all of the incredible law enforcement professionals joining us today, especially Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's terrific, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who is a fantastic legal talent. He really is. He's a great guy, too. And, of course, FBI Director Kash Patel. They have worked so hard on this and other things. Since the start of the administration, the FBI has arrested over 23,000 violent criminals, more than double the number arrested in the final year of the Biden disaster. The FBI has also destroyed or severely disrupted more than 170 organized criminal enterprises and gangs, 1,600 of the most violent gangs, and confiscated over 6,000 illegal firearms. And they've tracked down and arrested 4 fugitives on the most wanted list. 4 of the most wanted. Actually, 2 of them were the most wanted fugitives in the world. There's still much more work to be done, which is why the FBI continues to work alongside the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of War to defend, and Pete Hegseth has been fantastic, by the way, on this too, on other things, but on this too, to defend law and order and combat violent crime, arrest illegal aliens, and make American cities the safest in the world. And when I campaigned, I talked about crime, but I never knew that we were going to get into it like we did. You know, I mean, I used to watch these cities with the murders. Chicago recently had one deal where they had 11 murders in one weekend, and they said, well, yeah, but it was a holiday weekend. They actually told me that was the reason, like it was okay because it was a holiday. It was Labor Day. These people are the worst. They really have to. You better, I tell you what, the people in Chicago and the people in places like that can be fixed. At some point, it gets to where you can't fix it anymore. It's too far gone. And we have some cities like that. But these are great cities that can be fixed. I'm going to be strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco. I think we can make San Francisco. There's one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's a mess. And we have great support in San Francisco, so I'd like to recommend that for inclusion, maybe in your next group. You'll get great support. Every American deserves to live in a community where they're not afraid of being mugged, murdered, robbed, raped, assaulted, or shot. And that's exactly what our administration is working to deliver. I didn't realize I was going to make this such a big factor in the administration. I didn't really campaign. I campaigned on crime, but I never thought we'd go into every city and take a really safe city that we've all been living with for years and make them safe. And now it's like a passion for me, and it's a passion for the people behind me. So I didn't get elected. I did get elected for crime, but I didn't get elected for what we're doing. This is many, many steps above it. I want to thank Stephen Miller, who's right back in the audience right there. I'd love to have him. I love watching him on television. I'd love to have him come up and explain his true feelings, but maybe not his truest feelings. That might be going a little bit too far. But Stephen, thank you for doing an unbelievable job. And the people of this country love you, I'll tell you, and they love what you say about crime and stopping crime. So now I'd like to ask Director Patel to say a few words, and then Pam and Todd also. And I just want to congratulate them. This is an amazing thing. And we're just at the start. We're going to go into other cities that we're not talking about purposely. We're getting ready to go in. And when they go in, like Kash as an example, told me that people didn't even know. 5 months ago, they went into Chicago, and they started doing a lot of work in Chicago. And we brought the numbers down a little bit. And but that really was just preparatory work for what we're going to do with the surge. We're going to have a surge of strong, good people, patriots, and they're going to go in, they straighten it all out. So a lot of these cities we're already working on, but we don't do it with a big flavor. But in a little while, you're going to see some numbers that you're not going to believe. And I think you'll probably start with Memphis, because I'm hearing the numbers are much quicker than we even thought possible. But again, D.C. it speaks for itself. Chicago is going to be okay. We're going to save Chicago. And I told you, and I told them, a very respected man, the head of the Union Pacific, said, "Sir, save Chicago. It can be saved." And the way he said it was like, can you believe it? We're trying to save Chicago. But I understood exactly what he wants, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to save all of our cities.
How interesting that it's Union Pacific, Shady.
I think it's very interesting that it's Union Pacific.
What do we talk about every Friday?
The railroads.
The railroads. Got it. And that is Union Pacific, right? The bloodline companies. That's how your
hailing
country.
From Chicago?
Yeah. Chicago, Cincinnati, and Charlotte. Is that what it is, guys? Charleston. Thank you. Why do I always say Charlotte? Also, Land of Hoya, Antifa mapping happened long ago. Is also another Q-proof as well. It was a previous Q-proof too. Wow, guys.
And also, with all of the stuff that we're seeing, like right now, we're actually having a real conversation. The media is trying to continue with the narrative that there's no such thing as Antifa, that this is some sort of an anomaly. It's an apparition. You're crazy if you've been beaten by Antifa. You were beaten up by some sort of apparition. You were chased down the street by an apparition. These people are loyal to just some random thing that they picked up out of the dictionary whenever they were looking at it. All of this nonsense that the media is trying to feed you connects directly to, years ago, Jerry Nadler saying, "Oh, there's no such thing as Antifa." Well, we've got the the current guy Ellison, the prosecutor out there in Minnesota, well, he had the handbook, and now we have this whole situation with Rutgers going on, that professor, and all these people coming to his aid to give him money. So it's very interesting how all of the people that say that there's no such thing as Antifa fund Antifa.
Wow, imagine that.
It's interesting, isn't it?
And then people that act like they're MAGA are using the same talking points about using Israel to divide MAGA, Antifa.
And becoming anarchists.
Wow.
And we're going to make them essentially crime-free, like other countries have crime-free. If you go all over the world, you go to the world, you hear Afghanistan and you hear all these different places. Our crime in certain cities is worse than anything they can even imagine. And we're not going to have that any longer. It's going to stop, and it stops right here. Kash, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. What I'd like to do is just highlight some of the outstanding work that the men and women of the FBI have been doing.
Pay attention.
And thanks to your brave leadership and the mandate you were given by the American people not only defend the homeland but crush violent crime, you tasked us with our great partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General to start.
And by the way, remember that Q post that says track events for September 20th to 25th? Remember that, Shady?
I do. We highlighted that just the other day.
Interesting. Here we go.
Because I think we're leading up to something pretty big.
Yes, we are. Check this out. And like Shady said, pay attention to this. This is huge, guys.
Make an arrest and bring prosecutions and safeguard our cities. And you said it. This is just the beginning. In just 7 months, I hope the media takes a look at every one of these charts because these are the best numbers for fighting crime in U.S. history, and it's only 7 months in. And to do that, our vehicle to do it of choice was Operation Summer Heat, which the FBI architected to go after violent criminals. And in just a 3-month span, you had 8,700 arrests of violent criminals. You had 2,200 firearms seized off the streets permanently to safeguard our communities. You had 421 kilograms of fentanyl seized. Just to put that in perspective, that's enough to kill 55 million Americans alone. You had 45,000 kilograms of cocaine seized. And thanks to our Department of Justice partners, you had 2,100 indictments in 3 months, from June to September alone. Mr. President, that in and of itself would be historic for a 4-year presidency. You did that in 7 months because you let good cops be cops, and you partnered us with the right people at the Department of Justice to put the handcuffs on and bring them to court and put them in prison. And if that weren't enough, when you look at the year, for the entire 7-month period that we're talking about here, if you look at the past 4 years of the Biden administration, 16,000, 17,000, 15,000, 15,000. That's the number of arrests year over year of violent felons in this country for the Biden administration. Mr. President, in 7 months, you have 28,600 arrests of violent felons in just 7 months alone because of your leadership and the dedication of the men and women at the FBI who want to go out there and do the job they were prevented from doing because that department used to be weaponized and politicized. And this is what happens when you take out the fangs of weaponization. This number is historic by every metric. 28,000 people have been arrested, violent felons alone. And then when you go over there and look at some of these charts, if you don't mind, I'll just hop over here. Look at the metrics for not just violent crime, but the homeland. Mr. President, during your administration, the FBI has found and located 5,400 children. That is a 30% increase year to date over the last administration. Violent crimes against children arrests alone are up 10%. Gang arrests are up 210% in the last 7 months alone. And transnational organized crime, which Stephen Miller has been a great partner in, is up over 12% alone. These numbers are historic just as a snapshot. But just so people don't think we're focusing on violent crime alone, the national security mission, Mr. President, under your leadership has never been stronger. We have gone after espionage activities against our main counterparts in China, Russia, and Iran. In China alone, we've had over a 50% increase in espionage arrests alone and prosecutions. In Iran, we have had a 50% increase, again, in espionage cases. And in Russia, we've had a 33% increase in espionage cases alone. When it comes to counterterrorism, year to date, we have 125 arrests this year versus 100 last year, year to date alone. And when it comes to the cyber criminal activities, which are some of the largest enterprises plaguing everyday Americans, we at the FBI have put out a mission to go after cyber criminals like never before. Last year, they had in total 191. This year, you already have 252 arrests. 52 arrests of violent cyber criminals who are stealing from senior citizens, who are violating our children's rights and freedoms, and who are violating everyday Americans. These programs are record. And two of the things I'll finish with that I'm most proud of, Mr. President, this FBI, fentanyl. As you know, it's a scourge that is killing our youth, 100,000 plus a year. To date, the FBI has seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl. That's enough lethal doses to kill 127 million Americans alone. To date. And if that weren't enough, Mr. President, you said we have to go after the worst of the worst. And you empowered our Department of Justice, our Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and the Deputy Director at the FBI led the charge, not just on summer heat, but he also led the charge in the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. These people have been on the run for years. And in 7 months, you captured not one, not two, not three, but 4 of the FBI's most top 10 fugitives. 4. And just to put that in perspective, Mr. President, the Biden administration captured 4 in all of 4 years. You're on 7, and we're going to get to 10. We're going to get to 10 of 10. This includes a lady who murdered her 6-year-old handicapped child and fled to India. We got her in 2 months. This includes a narco trafficker. This includes a sex trafficker. This includes another first-degree murderer and gangbanger. These people were on the run because of the prior administration's reckless policies that destroyed our communities, and you came in and with a mandate said, go after the worst of the worst. This is just the beginning. This is what happens when you let good cops be good cops at the FBI. Mr. President, I just want to thank you for your incredible leadership, our brave partnership with prosecutors who know how to bring cases and make sure these arrests stick. And that's what the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General have led the charge across this country, because arrests without prosecutions are meaningless. We are deterring criminals from doing this activity. We are preventing criminals from coming into America, and we are absolutely crushing violent crime like never before and defending this homeland, sir. And not to mention, I almost forgot this one, it took you, sir, 2 weeks to get the Abbey Gate bomber. Joe Biden had 4 years to look for him. You got him in 2 weeks, thanks to the interagency effort by the FBI and the CIA, went to Pakistan, and now 13 brave warriors who were senselessly murdered because of disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. They have justice, their families have a peace of mind, and we're going to continue to find the others, Mr. President. On behalf of the FBI, sir, I just want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Kash. Great job. Very good.
I'd like to jump in just for a second and just give you a little summation of what I think that we all saw there. This is amazing on a level that I don't think that I'm going to be able to properly describe to you, but the size of the event that we're currently watching, the scope and the size of what we're currently watching. We spent our whole lifetimes watching this thing develop, where the government kept encroaching and kept encroaching and kept encroaching. They kept pushing, and then it came up to 9/11, and then after 9/11, what did they do? They pushed some more, and then they implemented the Patriot Act. And as you can see, excuse me, John Solomon kind of alluded to it there, like what's happened in the FBI for the last 25 years. It's been unprecedented, and saying, well, that's built off of the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act painted you as the enemy, the American people, the people that would stand up and say something at school boards, the people that wouldn't put a mask on if they were forced to, the people that wouldn't take a vaccine. Americans being divided up and categorized within the halls of government like that. And you can see that that's clearly true after what's come out in the last 7 months since Donald Trump has been elected. Having said that, are you now seeing the Patriot Act being utilized against the criminal enterprise that engineered the Patriot Act, thinking that no one would ever get control of government to be able to root out their criminal network? Because whenever we talk about the Flynn network and whenever we talk about the InfoWars network, we are talking about a criminal network that is funded by foreign money. Joe Flynn told you specifically, if we set it up just like Arabella, Patrick Byrne is not hiding it. Patrick Byrne just lost his defamation case with Hunter Biden because he wouldn't reveal the discovery of how he gets all of his money. That's because he doesn't want to tell them who's all giving him money through his 501c4s, and neither does General Flynn. But the truth of the matter is the FBI can know. And if the FBI were utilizing things like tools like the Patriot Act, all of a sudden they're going into foreign countries and arresting people. They're chasing down Antifa people in foreign countries and bringing them back. They're going to India and getting a top 4 most wanted people off of the streets in different countries. It almost looks to me, and Jeff, maybe I'm seeing it wrong, but it almost looks to me like the Patriot Act is being utilized for the true intention of the Patriot Act, and the Patriot Act is going after the embedded anarchist and or terrorist networks that are funding chaos in America on both sides of the political aisle.
So what do we see? 28,000 arrests, something like that,
That's what he
Shady?
said, yes.
Okay. So bottom to top arrests.
Yes.
Wow.
So there's not many arrests.
So the bottom, these people that are bringing in the drugs are them.
Yes.
These people that are coming in through our borders are them.
CIA doesn't have any competition in the drug trade, guys. There's no competition but the CIA. Donald Trump has said yesterday, they were talking about Venezuela. Guys, they've been manufacturing cocaine and methamphetamine and stuff in Venezuela and shipping it here for 4 decades. The CIA, since they engineered a coup. So now what's Trump saying? Oh, we're sitting in the CIA to do what? Eliminate the CIA. Interesting.
Thousands
dynamic
of pieces. Thousands.
Well, we can obliterate it if we use the military.
129.
Yes.
Boom. Wow. All right. We're going to continue. Good point, Shady. Thank you very much. Let's continue with this. This is an epic.
Wait till you hear Todd Blanche.
I'm blown away.
You're going to love this part too.
Let's go.
President Trump, the men and women of law enforcement say 2 things to me repeatedly. First, you have taken the handcuffs off them and let them do their jobs, and you let cops be cops. That's why all this is happening. The director, the deputy director are working around the clock. All of these great men and women in the FBI, they have families at home, and they are working during a government shutdown right now. Many of them have small children. Many of them, I was talking to an agent this morning, many of them have babies at home, and they are working around the clock to not only keep our country, but our world safe. And that's what Operation Summer Heat did. Thank you, Director, and to the Deputy Director for everything you did on behalf of the Department of Justice, and you're going to continue to keep doing. And they set the stage for what we're doing in Memphis. You're going to hear a lot more about that, our joint task force next week, but they set the stage for Memphis. And last night alone in Memphis, there were almost 70 arrests. There were 12 guns seized. And there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile. So thank you all for being here on behalf of both of us. Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you. Doug, you want to say something?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. So this is a great day.
So wait a second. So that was Pam Bondi. The Flynn Network and Ivan Ranklin calls her Scam Blondie. Do you guys think that she's doing a great job? I want to see 47s if you think Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Todd Blanche, the whole team that President Trump has in his administration, 47 if they're doing a great job.
Put my 47 in because I'm not logged in today.
And I think there's stats that the director talked about which are important, but I want to give 2 examples of what Summer Heat has done that actually will apply hopefully to everybody in this room. The first is for over 4 years during the last administration, there was a hotel in a town, the middle of a town in Alaska, that was being run as a drug den. There were over 1,000 calls to 911 over a 4.5 year period. There were multiple violent crimes, drug dealers, overdoses, and murders at this one hotel, ruining a community. Summer Heat went in there, it's not only arrested all the participants that were controlling the hotel, but seized the hotel. And so that's one example of what Summer Heat means to everyday Americans that just want to live in peace. The second example is a large narcotics trafficking group that was selling fentanyl in the state of Washington. They were shipping fentanyl and using commercial aircraft, putting fentanyl pills and powder in suitcases, flying them from the southwest border, mostly Arizona, all the way to Washington. It had been going on for an extremely long time, and the entire organization was arrested. And I say those 2 examples because it's easy to look at the board and see 1,000 arrests. How much different is our communities now compared to the past 4 years? But there's actual life examples. Every one of these arrests means that our streets are safer, and that's because of the work of this administration, of President Trump and Director Patel. So I will tell you, Attorney General Bondi and I are together every day with Director Patel, figuring out ways that we can continue to do this work, and it's not going to stop. Like the Attorney General said and like the President said, this is just the beginning or phase one or a start, whatever you want to say, but it will continue on. So thank you, Mr. President, and thank you very much, Director Patel.
Yeah, I want to just real quick too, Shady. Alex Jones was saying that Todd Blanche is usurping Trump or trying to frame Trump or something like that. Todd Blanche is doing a great job, Shady.
Yeah, Alex Jones is saying that he's compromised. This is very interesting. It's very interesting considering that Alex Jones and his connection to the CIA and his family connections to the CIA and the CIA's connections to decades and decades and decades of drug running and setting up operations in places like, I don't know, Washington State and Alaska, setting up every single state. They're setting their little drug operations up around the country, have been for decades and decades. And all of a sudden, the CIA's drug networks are being interrupted. There's no other way to look at this, everyone. You're not going to find an operating drug hotel in Alaska that isn't somehow protected by the authorities, whether it's local authorities, whether it's the old FBI. I don't know who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. It's not being prosecuted. The prosecutors and the police aren't paying attention to it. There's a reason for that. And if it's happening in your neighborhood, there's a reason for that also. And I would share with you, I would consider, if I were you, if you are watching violent criminals doing crime in your neighborhood, you can trust to call the FBI. And you can trust to call them up and say, hey, this is where they're meeting. This is where they go to hide. This is their hideout. Call them up. Tell on them. It's time that we start rooting them out because, like Jeff said, bottom to top, once America starts to thaw out, and thaw out, I mean dry out from all of the inundation of drugs for the last 50 years, there's going to be a lot of people that are very, very confused. We saw just 3 months ago, 1,300 barrels. Those were barrels that Judge Jeanine was standing with. Those were 55-gallon drums full of precursors to making fentanyl that got taken. You just can't imagine how much fentanyl that could produce or how much that deteriorated the drug network's ability. Remember, it's built on China. It's built on South America. It's built on the backbone of the military industrial complex. The trafficking could not happen if it were not for the embedded associations and dynamics of the military industrial complex. These rogue operators, I think, are connected to it.
And we'll be right back after these beautiful boom messages. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh.
Hello to all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's a 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received the generous $500 donation from Spill Tea, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20% and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back in stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-873-0478 and use promo code MGSHOW. Use your promo code for the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
If you want to find out how quickly the society can turn against one, and I'm talking seriously here, stand up and tell the truth about just anything that you want to stand up and tell the truth about. It scares the living daylights out of everyone. And so the first thing that happens is you find out who your friends are and who your friends are not, because there's a great weeding out there. And it's not anything that you do on your part or that I've done on my part. They just disappear. And you find very quickly that people are afraid to be around you because they can see the government being upset about what you're talking about, and they can see repercussions coming, and of course they have happened and will continue to happen. And ultimately, I really believe that there will be some kind of a terminal point where they decide that they're not just not going to put up with this pest anymore, and that's going to be the end of me. We have been literally financially in the ditch. We have found it impossible to get any kind of a normal job with anyone who knows anything about what I do. You can't go to church, you can't go to cocktail parties because everybody else is sitting around talking about the weather or, oh, what school did you go to? And when you have done the research and arrived at some of the answers that I know to be true now, those people become like kindergarten children. They're not in the real world, and I can't engage in that kind of a conversation. So you really find yourself in another world that has nothing to do with all of the rest of the people who are running around engaged in their activities that they think are so important to them. And to them, they really are. But to me, they've lost the reality of what really is important, and they're about to lose their freedom to even discover those things at this point.
I ask you a last question, and that is, how would you like to be seen or remembered in future years when people look back and you think about the thrust of your work? What is it that you would like to be best remembered for?
I think I would like to be remembered like Paul Revere was remembered. At a time when it was needed and nobody else would do it, I got on my horse and rode through the night and said, the British are coming. That's all. I'm not looking for any fame or any fortune. You certainly don't get rich doing what I'm doing. And infamous is probably the real word that describes what happens to you as far as public recognition in a world where political correctness is the theme of the day. You just don't do what I'm doing. So if anybody wants to remember me, I would certainly be pleased if they just remembered I did what was the responsible and the right thing to do at a time when nobody else had the guts to do it.
And I think that's how we want to be remembered.
We're bringing the noise. Go, baby, we bringing our toys.
That's exactly how we're going to be, because that's what we're doing. It's not. It doesn't take Einstein to do the right thing. You just need to do the right thing, and people aren't doing the right thing. People are doing the selfish thing. We all have that option. We all have the option every single day. Every single day when you wake up, you have the option to do the selfish thing today. All of us do. And it's whether or not you choose to do it. And everyone thought that all these people were like being selfless. The Alex Jones types, the General Flynn types. Oh, they're being selfless. They're giving themselves to the. Yeah, right. Nothing's for free, guys. Everything in this world has a cost. And a lot of the times it ends up being the meat between your ears.
Yeah. And breaking news, Cocaine Mitch falls again, guys.
Good God. Wow.
Can we have term limits now? Can he retire now?
Can we at least give the man a chair?
Or a walker?
Or something? Good Lord.
Wow.
That was a Biden fall there.
We're here.
Lord have mercy.
Wow. It's sad to see. So I posted it on Twitter and I said, Mitch McConnell falls again. Should he retire? What do you guys think? Why don't you guys go over to X right there? I'll post the link. Let me know what you think. Please start commenting. Wow. All right. So let's get back to President Trump's news conference because it's huge. Let's go back into it again.
Right.
Here we go.
President, just one last thank you from the men and women at the FBI. You found a way to get these individuals paid during a government shutdown, our 1811 agents. So on behalf of the FBI, it's a great debt that we owe you, sir. They're now allowed to pay for their families, so thank you.
And the military. Good.
That's right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, please? Brian, go ahead.
First of all, I know the feedback I'm getting from the American people, they want to say thank you. Law and order is not an option in this country. It's a mandate. So I know the American people thank you for that. In terms of the guns that have been taken off the street, do you have a number of how many guns were taken away from someone that had a prior felony or a previous crime?
This is interesting.
You can prosecute that, because I know that wasn't the case under Joe Biden.
We don't take guns off the streets of people that are allowed to have guns. So every gun that we're taking off the street is because it belongs to somebody who is not allowed to have it. Could be a felon, could be somebody who here's illegally. There's all sorts of conditions. But if there's a gun taken off the streets by the FBI, it's because the person who has it is not allowed to. It's not somebody who's lawfully allowed to have it. So every single one of those guns were taken off of people that aren't allowed to have them.
And not including the FBI, all of the other agencies. ATF alone since January 20th has removed over 25,000 illegal guns off our streets just since President Trump's been in office.
Mr. President, if I could follow up on that, could there be any further conversation to have national concealed carry applied to actual DC? Like if you had a driver's license in Texas and you had a permit, of course you could drive.
Well, as you know, they've been talking about that for a long time. It's an interesting question. A lot of people feel strongly both ways, but we are talking about that, Brian. Thank you.
Mr. President, on Venezuelan boats, I want to ask you, why not have the Coast Guard stop them, which it is empowered by law to do? This way you can confirm who's on the boat and ensure that they're doing what you suspect.
Because we've been doing that for 30 years, and it has been totally ineffective. They have faster boats. Some of these boats are seriously, they're world-class speedboats, but they're not faster than missiles. But we've been trying to do that for years, and so much of the drugs, 25-30%, would come in through the seas. Right now we have, I would say, none coming in through the seas. In fact, I don't know about the fishing industry. If you want to go fishing, a lot of people aren't deciding to even go fishing. We've almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land.
What's the next
But
step?
it never worked. It never worked when you did it in a very politically correct manner.
What's the next step in this war on cartels, and are you considering options, are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. We've had a couple of days where there isn't a boat to be found. And that, I view that as a good thing, not a bad thing. But we had tremendous amounts coming in by boats, by very expensive boats. You know, they have a lot of money, very fast, very expensive boats that were pretty big. And the way you look at it is every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. So every time you see a boat and you feel badly, you say, wow, that's rough. It is rough, but if you lose 3 people and save 25,000 people, these are people that are killing our population. Every boat is saving 25,000 lives, and you can see it. The boats get hit, and you see that fentanyl all over the ocean. It's like floating in bags. It's all over the place, and it's a tremendous. We're saving tremendous amounts of lives. Yeah,
On that issue. I know you've talked about, I have a question for you, and then I also have a question for Director Patel. I know you talked about having some distaste for Boston recently. Is this one of those cities that you might be looking into, and can you give us a hint about other cities that you might be?
You're saying for where? For where?
For Boston.
Yeah, well, Boston has a bad mayor who at least is a reasonable IQ person. You know, most of them are low IQ. But, and they're so bad. I mean, what's going on in Chicago is just, you'd think the guy would say, hey, look, we have a problem, Mr. President. Could you come in and straighten it out? We could have that done in a month if we had their cooperation. It's going to be done anyway, but we could have it done in a month. Yeah, Boston, she's got 4 areas that are, wrong. And, somebody said, would we think about taking the World Cup away from Boston if they don't straighten it out? And the answer is yes, we have the right to do that with FIFA. So if we think that LA is going to be bad, or we think that applies a little bit to the Olympics too, but we'll talk about FIFA first. FIFA is very hot. If we think there's any reason that, whether it's Boston or anywhere else, that they're not doing their job, we're going to take those World Cup games and move them someplace else.
Thank you. And then Director Patel, there's been so many conspiracy theories swirling around about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Do you have any updates for us, especially in light of all the online content that everyone's been talking about?
The only thing we deal with at the FBI and the Department of Justice is facts. And we delivered at record speed a manhunt to capture Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin in 33 hours. And if you put that in perspective, Luigi Mangione with the Boston bomber, they took them 5 days and a police officer lost their life in their manhunt. We are.
Am I understanding this correctly? So now all these people that are posting all these BS conspiracies are now on the side of mainstream news, Shady?
100%. You are absolutely tracking, sir. Great observation. That is exactly what's going on. And as a matter of fact, whenever you say it like that, it could also go right together with the Antifa and the anarchists, couldn't it?
Wow. So all these asshats don't deal in facts. They just deal with your feelings. That's how they mind control you guys.
Are they all against Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Isn't that, they just, it's very funny that we find them all in the same pot.
Yep.
So many conspiracy theories swirling around about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Do you have any updates for us, especially in light of all the online content that everyone's been talking about?
The only thing we deal with at the FBI and the Department of Justice is facts. We delivered at record speed a manhunt to capture Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin in 33 hours. And if you put that in perspective, Luigi Mangione with the Boston bomber, they took them 5 days and a police officer lost their life in their manhunt. We are running on absolutely every single lead. And the best thing we can do to honor my friend Charlie Kirk's life is to make sure that everyone involved is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And that's what we're focused on, investigating the facts, not trading in conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Mr. President, thank you so much.
Thank you.
In light of China's export curbs on rare earths, do you view India as a reliable partner going forward? And are you planning to meet Prime Minister Modi in Malaysia? Are you open to talks in terms of
Yeah, sure. He's a friend of mine. We have a great relationship. He just said that 2 days ago, as you know. We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia, because that lets Russia continue on with this ridiculous war where they've lost 1.5 million people. By the way, Russia's lost 1 million.
Real quick, CJ has a daughter with a birthday. Happy birthday, Sophia. Happy birthday.
Happy soldiers, Sophia. This is a war that should have never started, but it's a war that Russia should have won in the first week, and they're going into the 4th year and I want to see it stop. So I was not happy that India was buying oil, and he assured me today that they will not be buying oil from Russia. That's a big stop. Now I got to get China to do the same thing. You know, that is relatively easy compared to what we just did over the last week in the Middle East. Middle East was 3,000 years, and we got it done. This is 3 years, and I think we'll get it done. I think that President Putin, I think he wants to get it done. We'll see. There's a great animosity between him and Zelensky. You probably have noticed, right? And it's, I think it's hurting the process. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, thank you. Curious, why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged?
Well, I can't do that, but I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the, they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back, but that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela, and a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think.
Now, you know, if the fake news did any research, Shady Groove, they would know that the CIA has been in Venezuela for decades. Okay,
they've been protecting it.
The CIA has had a documented history of involvement in Venezuela dating back decades, primarily through intelligence operations, support for opposition groups, and awareness, and in some cases, facilitation on regime change efforts.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
that's why Maduro's there.
Yes, sir. That's exactly why it's there, and that's why all the stuff with the idiots that's tried to scream and yell at us about the Dominion voting machines, all of that turned out to be bogus, didn't it? What country were they blaming for that? Oh, when in Venezuela? Oh, yeah, interesting.
So the CIA has been in Venezuela for decades. Okay, 75 years, 1950s. Okay,
manufacturing drugs.
Wow,
and shipping them to America. Used to back in the 90s, they would fly them right into Mena, Arkansas.
Hey, Shady, you know, we didn't need to bring that up.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, sir, but those low-flying aircraft that weren't able to be picked up on the radar sure did establish the current drug networks that we're taking apart. And by the way, Jeff, the comments that he said there about Russia, it's very interesting. Nobody in the media is talking about this either, but just so you guys have a little tidbit that nobody else has, there's no gas in Russia. So notice now, look, you know, say, how's Donald Trump dealing with this situation? Let me show you how he's dealing with the situation. He's stopping India from buying Russian fuel. India was a major contributor to the market there. And he's also at the same time, we are generating massive amounts of oil here in America and different types of fuel. Therefore, the price of a barrel of crude oil is now down under 60, or was yesterday, down under $60 a barrel. Once that's occurred, Russia cannot make any money. They can't sell their oil on the world market because it's costing them roughly, I think it's like $45 to $50 a barrel to produce. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were selling it on the world market for $100 to make double their money. Now that the price is down, there are gas lines in Russia because Ukraine has obliterated about, I think, 6 or 8 of their major oil refining facilities there in Russia. So the people of Russia, for the first time in this 3-year span, are actually feeling the pinch, feeling the pain of what it is that Putin is doing. Not to mention, they are conscripting like 5,000 people a day, going around and picking people up out of their houses, and they've lost 1.5 million people to the war so far.
And they've been in over a dozen countries over there in Latin America. I mean, it's no secret, Mr. News Guy. Oh, CIA's in Venezuela. Wow, that's new.
Is that what it comes? Is that a comment?
That's what it seems like. That's what the guy asked. Here we go. Check it out.
Venezuela is feeling heat, but I think a lot of other countries are feeling heat too. We're not going to let this country, our country, be ruined because other people want to drop, as you say, their worst. They have given us their worst. They've loaded up our country with prisoners, with mentally ill people that are seriously ill, criminally ill, and we're not going to take it. And so, I mean, it's just one of those things. And I can tell you, we've taken care of the sea. There's nobody, and we're watching. We're watching. And if we see it, we'll save it. Yeah, please.
On the ships, though, sir, there are Republicans and Democrats up on the Hill concerned that in the briefings they've gotten about those attacks, they're not necessarily getting information about who was on them and what exactly was on those ships. Can you ensure that?
But they are given information that they were loaded up with drugs, and that's the thing that matters. When they're loaded up with drugs, they're fair game. And every one of those ships were, and they're not ships, they're boats, they're speedboats. They're extremely fast, record-setting type speedboats. They cost a lot of money, and they have a lot of money because they're drug sellers. But they know one thing, and they all have the same thing in common. There's drug dust. They call it drug dust. They call it fentanyl dust all over the boat after those bombs go off, and you can take along.
Attack them though that they're.
We know before. We know when they go out. We know we have much information about each boat that goes out. Deep, strong information. Yeah, please.
Also, Jeff, would you?
That's because the CIA is saying, okay, we've got 10 pounds here, 20 pounds here, 30 pounds here, put it on that boat. They know, Shady.
Right. That's exactly right. I mean, it couldn't be more clear. And the point that I'm trying to make is, like, think about, like, the reporter. Put yourself in the position of that reporter, the mainstream media reporter. You will never hear someone advocate for you. If your family, let's say tomorrow, your family is down and they get 3 people in your family get murdered by an illegal immigrant or somebody that's here from Venezuela illegally. This person that's asking that question about those drug boats would not ask a single question on your behalf or the behalf of your murdered family. He wouldn't care about your murdered family. But when it comes to a drug boat in the middle, somewhere down there off the coast of Venezuela before you get into the Caribbean, when it comes to that drug boat, it's question after question after question. It's almost like the media is in it with them, isn't it? Why is this not showing you that the media is advocating for the cartel? The media is advocating for the Antifa. The media is advocating for illegal immigration. The media is also saying that if you dismiss what they're advocating for, there's something wrong with you because they're the ones that are there to look out for your best interests. Meanwhile, there's not a damn thing that these people say that is even connected to one thing that you are interested in. How can it be your best interest? Did you notice how they acted over Khashoggi? Did you notice how they acted over Soleimani? These people were drug lords and generals. They're acting like this because Donald Trump is taking out their assets one by one.
Have Vladimir Zelensky here this week. What is your message at this stage of the war for him? And shy of tomahawks,
to who is that?
For Zelensky. Yeah. Shy of tomahawks for Ukraine. Are you considering other options? And will you speak with Vladimir Putin?
No, we're looking at other options. We are. President Zelensky's coming in. I'm not a fan of the war. I'm not a fan of the way it started. It should have never happened. It wouldn't have started if I were president. The election was rigged. And because of that, we lost a lot of lives have been lost because of that war. Not American lives, but if I can save a lot of lives, that's why I'm in it. I want to save lives. I've had 8 wars. The Prime Minister of Pakistan got up the other day, said so beautifully, says, you saved millions of lives. He told that to a group of people right in this office. He said the president saved millions of lives. And I think what he's referring to is the fact that that would have been with India nuclear war. That was getting very close. 7 planes, they don't talk about it, but 7 aircraft were shot down. In fact, we have the new ambassador to India right here. They're well represented. You better represent us, not them, okay? But Sergio's going to do a great job. He's going to do a great job. But no, we'll be talking about the war with him, and we'll be talking about, they want to go offensive. I'll make a determination on that, but they would like to go offensive, you know that. and we'll have to make a determination.
Can I follow up with a question? Given you have the FBI Director and Attorney General here today, Jim Jordan has asked Jack Smith to appear in front of the House Judiciary.
You mean deranged, Jack? He's a deranged individual, yeah.
He's asked him to...
Well, they should. I'm surprised it takes so long. You know, we're talking about violent crime. What about the crime against a political opponent? That's what we have to talk about, too.
Jordan would like to understand the full extent to which the Biden-Harris Justice Department weaponized federal law enforcement. What do you think the committee will find out, Mr. Smith?
I think it was the worst weaponization of a political opponent in the history of the world, let alone this country. And I hope that everybody's, they're involved in it. I'm not. I'm the one that had to suffer through it and ultimately win. But what they did was criminal. Deranged Jack Smith, in my opinion, is a criminal. And I noticed his interviewer was, I think that was Weissman. And I hope they're going to look into Weissman, too. Weissman's a bad guy. And he had somebody in Lisa, who was his puppet, worked in the office really as the top person. And I think that she should be looked at very strongly. There was tremendous criminal activity having to do. If we don't have fair elections in this country, we're not going to have a country. And I've said it from the beginning, fair elections and borders. And we need also fair press. Because if you don't have fair press, it's very tough. And we've got the strongest border of anybody. Nobody has a border. We have a border where the numbers just came out again. You saw 0 people came in illegally. Now, we do take people into our country legally, but 0 people. But, you're talking about a different subject. You're talking about political crime. They have committed massive political crime. I hope they're looking at Shifty Schiff. I hope they're looking at all these people. And I'm allowed to find out. I'm allowed to, I'm, in theory, the chief law enforcement officer. But I have a very good, talented group. This is about something else. But I hope they're looking at political crime because there's never been so much political crime against a political opponent as what I had to go through. They raided my house in Florida. It was an illegal raid. I have a lawsuit that was doing very well. And when I became president, I said, I'm sort of suing myself. I don't know. How do you settle the lawsuit? I'll say, give me X dollars, right? And I don't know what to do with the lawsuit. It's a great lawsuit. And now I won. It sort of looks bad. I'm suing myself, right? So I don't know. But that was a lawsuit that was very strong, very powerful. They raided illegally my house in Florida, Mar-a-Lago. They went through the drawers of my young son. They went through all of the cabinets and drawers of the First Lady. She walked in, she said, wow, what happened? Because she's very meticulous, and this wasn't so meticulous as she looked into the drawers and she saw everything a mess. It's what they did against a person that just got out of office. And then you look at these corrupt people, you look at Hunter Biden, you look at the signature, as an example, the auto pen. I just signed so many different things, an admiral, a 4-star general. I'm signing them left and right, the commissions. And by the way, I want to compliment John Thune and also Mike, our great speaker. But John Thune, all of a sudden I'm getting these things by the hundreds. I was getting one every 2 weeks. It would have been 4 years before you got them in more. You would have had some that didn't even get in, all because of Democrat obstruction. So John Thune did a great job. I must have signed 200 into the administration. We're just about caught up. It's amazing. And so compliments to John. He had to do some things that were very tough to do that he didn't want to do, but he was forced to do it by the Democrats. And as far as the shutdown's concerned, this is a Democrat Schumer shutdown. And he's trying to do it to get relevance back into the party because he's a loser. I've known him all his life. He's always been sort of a loser, but an intelligent one. But I think he's losing IQ points with time. I think that happens. I hope it hasn't happened with me. I know if it did, you guys will let me know about it very quickly.
Question on violent crimes, sir. Here in D.C., a judge has given the 2 teenagers that beat up ex-Doge staffer Big Balls probation.
It's incredible.
And no jail time. Is this justice?
Jeanine Pirro is doing a fantastic job, and she is beside herself because you have these radical left judges that they beat the hell out of this guy. And it was many people against this one guy who was really trying to protect his girlfriend. He didn't want his hooded over the door but they really beat him up badly. That just happened, right? Yeah. Wow, that's terrible. I think the judge should be ashamed of himself. That's a big problem. they can do their job, and then they go into a court, and the people are protected by these. I don't know where they come from. Where do these people come from? Where do the judges come from? I want to compliment on behalf of Pam and Todd and all of us, because Kash, I think that Janine has done a fantastic job. And the case I heard was like flawless. It's a flawless case. They have them on tape. They have everything. And then a judge gives them a little probation. These are rough guys, and they're young. And if that happens, they're going to grow up. They're going to be real bad. They're going to cause a lot of problems. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
So, Roger Gore has just gotten back from India. What were the conversations like with Prime Minister Modi and the other?
I think they were great. He reported to me that you're great. He's a great man, Modi is a great man. That he loves Trump. Now, I don't know if the word love, I don't want you to take that any different. I don't want to destroy his political career, okay? But you have to understand, I've watched India for years. It's an incredible country. And every single year you'd have a new leader. I mean, some would be in there for a few months. And this was year after year after year. And my friend has been there now for a long time. And he's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. I don't know, maybe that's a breaking story. Can I say that? Would you say? There will be no oil. He's not buying his oil from Russia. It started. You can't do it immediately. It's a little bit of a process. But the process is going to be over with soon. And all we want from President Putin is stop this. Stop killing Ukrainians and stop killing Russians, because he's killing a lot of Russians. Again, it doesn't make him look good. It's a war that he should have won in 1 week, and he's now going into his 4th year. That does not make this big so-called war machine look good. But he could make a settlement. We're willing to settle. I thought we had a deal. The hatred of the two leaders is very, it's an obstacle. It's an obstacle. There's no question about it. But I thought we had a deal 2 months ago. Who would think I created peace in the Middle East and can't get the two guys to settle? But I think we'll get them. But if India doesn't buy oil, it makes it much easier. And they're not going to buy. They assured me they will. Within a short period of time, they will not be buying oil from Russia. And they'll go back to Russia after the war's over. Jennifer?
On the shutdown, sir, are FBI officials being paid right now? Are all the FBI employees being paid, and are all the...
Well, that's what I understand. I hope so.
Thanks to you, everybody. Thanks to your great work, Mr. President. The 1811 special agents at the FBI are going to receive their paychecks.
Got a lot of people paid, actually. We got the people that we want paid, okay? And we want the FBI paid, we want the military paid. We got the people that we want paid. And I'll tell you, the Democrats, they don't talk about this. We're getting rid of programs that we didn't like, but that were negotiated in, but we didn't like. We're terminating those programs, and they're going to be terminated on a permanent basis. And it's thousands of people, and it's billions of dollars. We're getting rid of a lot of things that we never wanted because of the fact that they made this stupid move. And they don't want to talk about it. They have their day coming up. I hear very few people are going to be there, by the way. But they have their day coming up, and they want to have their day in the sun. But they should really make a deal. So what we're doing, they call him Darth Vader, but he's actually a very nice person, Russell Vogt. But Russell Vogt is really terminating tremendous numbers of Democrat projects. There's not only jobs, the project in Manhattan, the project in New York, it's billions and billions of dollars that Schumer has worked 20 years to get. It's terminated. Tell him it's terminated, Jennifer. All right.
On Hamas, sir, what is your understanding of the pace of returning the deceased hostages? Are you pleased?
Well, they're looking for them. Absolutely. They're looking. So we have the living hostages all back. They returned some more today. It's a gruesome process. I almost hate to talk about it. But they're digging. They're actually digging. There are areas where they're digging and they're finding a lot of bodies. Then they have to separate the bodies. You wouldn't believe this. And some of those bodies have been in there a long time. And some of them are under rubble. They have to remove rubble. But there are graves, and some are in tunnels that died in tunnels that are way down under the earth. And the tunnels are like 3 feet. Can you believe it? 3 feet high. They lived like this for a long period of time. It's a horrible atrocity. At the same time, we, meaning Israel, but I knew everything they were doing pretty much. I knew most of the things they were doing, but they've killed probably 70,000 of these people, Hamas. And I said, it's time now. So we'll see what happens. We'll also see what happens. Your next question is going to be the weapons. We want the weapons to be given up, sacrificed, and they've agreed to do it. Now they have to do it. And if they don't do it, we'll do it.
We had the head of CENTCOM today suggest that Hamas needs to hurry up and disarm and follow your comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
That it was the head of CENTCOM saying that. Is that not a signal to Hamas, to the rest of the world, that at some point the U.S. military may more directly engage?
We won't need the U.S. military. We won't need it.
Why not just
Because we're very much involved in it. If we weren't involved, there wouldn't be peace. If we didn't destroy the nuclear capability of Iran, that deal would have never happened for two reasons. The Arab nations would not have felt bold enough to do it because you have a very powerful, at that time, Iran. It's not powerful anymore between what Israel and us did. Because, the attack was, if you look at it, we helped them very much. They will be the first to tell you, including shooting down thousands of drones that were coming into Israel. We shot them down. We were shooting them down like it was target practice, but we shot down thousands of drones and missiles also going into Israel. But between what we did to Iran that way with the, conventional, we will call it, and what see that beautiful plane, that B-2, I noticed it on the desk. I always thought it was beautiful, but I never understood it. Now I understand it. Took in hundreds of thousands of bombs in the form of two, but hundreds of thousands of pounds of bombs. And every single bomb hit perfectly. Then they sent Tomahawks in. They sent 30 Tomahawks on top of it. And that was totally, CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as Trump said, because I said obliterated. Obliterated is not a strong enough word, actually. And you saw the Atomic Energy Commission came out and said the word obliteration is very, very, think of it. They came in under potential fire. They entered Iran airspace late at night, in the dark, no moon. The moon was low for a reason. What time we picked it. Couldn't see anything. And they hit every target, and they weren't hit. Nobody saw that plane. That plane is stealth. Nobody saw it. The problem with that is it may be stealth today, but tomorrow it won't be. And we just ordered about 20 brand new B-2 bombers. It's unbelievable as a weapon. I know Putin, when I was riding with him in Alaska, we passed a lot of them. And he said, that really did the trick. I said, yeah, it did. It's amazing. The flying wing.
But you see no reason for the U.S. military to get involved in Gaza?
No, I don't see that. No, I think we're going to handle it very well. We'll be helping Israel. But we have other countries that are now. We signed, many countries signed. And many of those countries relatively are very strong military powers. And Hamas has no support. See, Hamas had the support of Iran, and now Iran says, don't get us involved. The last time they got them involved didn't work out too well. So they used to have the support of Iran. Today, they're trying to survive. When I heard the reports 2 weeks ago, Iran's looking to build a nuclear weapon, I said, don't worry about it. They got a lot of things they want to do before nuclear weapons. I said, the last thing they want to do is a nuclear weapon. It didn't work out. And if they did a nuclear weapon before they got even close, that site would be attacked and it would be wiped out. Yeah.
Mr. President, you're meeting with President Xi in a few weeks.
Yeah.
If you can't come to an agreement or a deal at that meeting, are we in for a sustained trade war with China?
Well, you're in one now. Look, we have 100% tariff. If we didn't have tariffs, we would be exposed as being a nothing. We would have no defense. They've used tariffs on us, but we've never had anybody sitting in that chair that felt the need to do it. And they've allowed us to be $37 trillion in debt, et cetera, et cetera. Tariffs are a very important tool for our defense, for our national security. If we don't have tariffs, we're not going to have national security. As an example, if you look at Pakistan and Iran, I told them I was in the midst of negotiating a trade deal with Iran, and Pakistan was going to be in line. And because of tariffs, they all want to negotiate much differently. We were making a good deal. And then I heard that they're shooting at each other. And I said during one of my conversations, Are you guys going to go to war? 2 nuclear powers. We are thinking about, I said, here's the deal. You go to war, I'm going to put a 200% tariff. I'm going to stop you from doing any business in the United States. I said it to both of them. Within 24 hours, the war ended. That would have been a nuclear war. And again, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who was here 2 weeks ago, said that that man saved many millions of lives in front of a whole group of people because he thought it was going to be war. But when it came to war or having to pay massive tariffs, the tariffs overrode. That's why it's so important. Not only the money, we're taking in trillions of dollars, not only the money, the power to keep peace, the power to be used for good is enormous. But a lot of people didn't understand tariffs. It's also made us very rich. We have a big case coming up in the Supreme Court, and I will tell you, that's one of the most important cases in the history of our country, because if we don't win that case, we will be a weakened, troubled, financial mess for many, many years to come. I don't even know if survivable is a good term. And if we do, we're going to be the most powerful economic country in the world. And all we're doing is using them as a defense against what took place for many years. China would charge us tariffs. It was incredible, but we weren't allowed to charge. And we're allowed to do whatever we want. We just had presidents that didn't want to do it for whatever reason. And it was nothing. But of the 8 wars, I was saying 7, of the 8 wars, I would say tariffs are directly responsible for me ending 6 of them, 5 or 6. Without the tariffs, you have wars raging all over the world. With the tariffs, other than Russia, we have no wars out there. And we've made a lot of good friends, too. Tariffs are so important to our national security. If we don't have tariffs, we don't have national security. Our country would suffer a level that, because they're used so strongly on us. As an example, the European Union. They won't take our cars, they won't take our agriculture, they won't take anything, but they send their cars in, Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, by the millions. We don't send any cars. They don't take them. They were tariffing us out. Agricultural products, they don't take our agriculture. They want their farmers to do it. I understand that. But it was very unfair, and they were tariffing our product. They're keeping out by using tariffs. And we didn't use them, but I used them. And now we made one of the great deals with your $650 billion they pay us, and we've evened it out. It's really a good thing to see. And you have to understand, they've all signed. Japan, South Korea. I mean, South Korea, $350 billion up front. Japan, $650 billion. And they've all agreed to it. They're all happy. But before, it was a total ripoff. And if we don't have the use of tariffs, we have no national security. This country will have no financial security, will not have national security. And the people that brought the lawsuit are people that are aligned with foreign nations that are now being treated fairly, as opposed to just ripping us off and ripping us asunder. So, but if we are not allowed to use what other people use against us, there's no defense. It'll be a disaster for America. That's why I think I'm going to go to the Supreme Court to watch it. I've not done that, and I had some pretty big cases. I think it's one of the most important cases ever brought, because we will be defenseless against the world. Okay?
You'll go to the tariff case?
Did you have one? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask you about the Georgia Senate race. I know it's very early, but there's several Republicans in that field that are vying for your endorsement.
A lot of good people in that field.
Yes.
No, I know all of them, actually. I haven't made a decision on that, but you have some very good people in the Georgia Senate race.
Well, Governor has endorsed...
No, I know. The governor has, and he's spoken to me about it a lot. He likes that candidate a lot. And I understand that. I haven't made a decision yet. But I'm following that race very carefully. I think it's very important for Georgia to get a real senator, because the senator they have now is a horrible senator. He allows all the crime, all the borders. You have open borders. I mean, his whole philosophy is a disaster. That's not representative of the people of Georgia. I know the people of Georgia. I won Georgia 3 times, but they say twice. Okay, I won it very big the last time. and I won it big the first time, and I won it big the second time, but we had criminals that didn't allow, I hope they're going to go into that. I hope they go into the votes which are being stored in Fulton County and take a real look at those votes, okay? Because I won it the second time too. But I know Georgia very well. I love Georgia. Those people are great, and they deserve a good senator because the man they have now is a weak, ineffective person. Okay.
Mr. President, I wonder what you make.
By the way, you won Georgia 3 times.
I agree. Do you agree with me?
I
and
do.
He's the media.
For someone that spends a lot of time in Georgia, I believe you won that.
Okay.
I really have a question about...
The word believe isn't strong enough, right?
Yeah,
you
I
know.
There you go.
It's true. I know I won too. We have the great Newt Gingrich. Newt, you agree with us? Good. Otherwise, I'd have him dismissed immediately from the room. His wife, as you know, is becoming an ambassador to a great country, Calista. So congratulations. And we're going to take a picture. And the only reason I'm doing it, he speaks so well of me. He said, I'll go down as the greatest president in history. And then he blew it. He said, I'm not sure if I put him above Washington or Lincoln. So I'm not that happy about that, dude.
I've got a question about the weaponization of the DOJ. The media often says your department is weaponizing the DOJ.
Yeah, that's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Todd, you represented President Trump and probably the greatest weaponization of the DOJ by Alvin Bragg. You know firsthand, if you can describe what you saw under the Biden administration and how they weaponized the DOJ.
Well, I think it's hard to describe what happened in those last 4 years against President Trump. Alvin Bragg, a local prosecutor, his office staffed by somebody from DOJ. Jack Smith picked as a special counsel, staffs his entire office with DOJ prosecutors. And then there are countless things that happened, all in writing, most of them on the docket, that require no explanation except a complete abomination of the place that the Attorney General and I run now and Director Patel. So when people talk about this department weaponizing, it's embarrassing. Because there's no scenario in which you can look at what we're doing, restoring justice, doing the right thing in every single case, and say that that's weaponization, and yet remain eerily silent about what happened for the past 3 years. You read these articles and giggle, because it cannot be true that people really think that what they did to him, not once, not twice, I'm still counting 3, 4 times, but we're the ones that are weaponizing. So this man is not weaponizing the Department of Justice. We're not weaponizing the Department of Justice. It's the opposite. And also, nobody questions what I'm saying because it's true, because we all lived the past 4 years. So listen.
They never want to bring up the details, but I watch the fake news, and he's weaponized, and he wants to send them to prison. He wants all this. They indicted me like 5 times. I took a mugshot. Who would have thought it turned out to my favor? Because it was a good shot. But I had to take a mugshot. It's right out there on the door. New York Post, front page of every paper in the world. I had a mugshot. They wanted to send me, nobody says that. They say, he's acting very, very tough. He's acting unfair. Let me tell you, if they've been nice to anybody, it's to those criminals, because they are so good having to do with all of the things we're talking about today with violent crime. But if anything, I think this Justice Department has been so respectful of the law, because the other Justice Department...
It has to be done right.
Rita or Lisa and all of that scum, real scum, what they did to the political opponent of a guy that has a seriously low IQ. Now, in his case, it was low based on his career, but it got real low, okay? It was descending rapidly. But what they did to go after his political opponent is legendary, worse than any third world country, banana republic. And what we're doing is nothing. Are you kidding? Nothing. They write stories. Why aren't they doing this? And we'll leave. I don't have to leave it up to them, but I choose to, at this moment at least. But there's never been anybody treated in the history of politics. They say the 2 worst treated presidents by the media, etc., was that man right there, the late, great Abraham Lincoln, And this grant, right there, Andrew Jackson. They say Andrew Jackson was treated terribly. They give him number 1 and number 2, but that was before I came along, Newt. I say I have number 1 times 10. Nobody's been treated like I've been treated. And I did a great job. You know, we had a great first term. And we had one of the most successful economies in history, et cetera. I rebuilt the military. We did a tremendous amount. The last part, we had a horrible thing called COVID, and we handled that well. We made ventilators for nations all over the world. We did a great job. Probably never get credit for it. Look at the therapeutics, the Regeneron, all the different things, the vaccines, all the things we did. We did a great job, but we had to focus on that. But we had the best economy in the history of our country. We're blowing it away right now. Look at the stock market. It hit another all-time high today. That's 48 days out of the few days that I've served. 48 days have already hit record highs. And we have, maybe most importantly, the number, we have now, I was saying 17, it's over $18 trillion is being poured into our country. It's because of the election and because of tariffs. Without the tariffs, you wouldn't have probably 18 cents. It's because of the tariffs, because there are no tariffs if they build in our country. And they understand that. So we have medical companies coming over. We have the AI. We're dominating China in AI. Everybody said that's impossible. We're dominating. I'm letting these massive plants build their own electric generating plants. They're becoming utilities in addition to everything. Maybe they'll make more money with that, who knows? But they're building their own electric because we have an old grid. You wouldn't be able to do that.
Boom.
And we're dominating China. We're dominating with AI, which seems to be the new big thing. That's the new internet. That's the new whatever. So we're very happy with the job we're doing. I'm very happy with the job they're doing. But when you tell me about attacking a political opponent, there's never been. And I'm a legitimate opponent. I watch my son. He's got the #1 best-selling book now. My son, Eric, is a wonderful kid. That guy spent so much time with subpoenas. He got more subpoenas than anybody in the history of our country. Think of it. And he's an innocent, good boy. He's a good kid. He's always been a good kid. All of my children are good. They went through hell. My children went through federal grand juries on a hoax. Think of it. You have Adam Schiff and Hillary Clinton and others make up a hoax and then wanting to so they know it's a hoax, and they go before the press, say Donald Trump Jr.
knowingly
will go to jail because of what he's done with Russia. I'll never forget, I get a call from my son, Don, and he said, Dad, I'm being accused of something with Russia. I don't know anything about Russia. He didn't know anything about it. Think of it, how bad they are. They say he'll go to prison for the rest of his life. He knew nothing about it. On a hoax, the Russian hoax, Russia hoax, on a story that they made up. And they made it up in order to explain why Hillary Clinton lost an election that she lost by pretty good numbers. The second one, actually the second one was even better, but the third one, this one was too big to rig. It was just too big to rig. They would have rigged. They tried to rig it. But think of it. They want to send my children to jail, but they were after Don in particular. I'll never forget Adam Shifty Schiff, a total crooked guy.
A father's love knows no bounds.
Lying in Congress, making up a phone conversation that I have with you, totally made up. Then when he heard it was taped, he wanted to disappear. And Nancy Pelosi went crazy because they wanted to impeach me based on the conversation that was made up. When they heard the tape, everybody, I won it unanimously in the Republican Party. I got every single vote, something that never happens, and I beat it. But think of it, they want to put my son in jail for something that they made up. So they know they made it up. And they say he will serve the rest of his life in prison. These are sick, bad people. And don't tell me about us going after them. If anything, we've been very, very soft. I wouldn't be that soft, I'll tell you that. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mic drop.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Let's go.
God bless him for finally saying it.
Wow.
Like, you're telling me that I'm weaponizing? Where have you fake news people been for the last 7 years, Shady? Almost 8 years.
I think that it's very, very interesting because we have been talking about how we use our discernment, right? how we use our logic to navigate, how you use the meat between your ears to understand what's going on. You know what they're saying to him? They're literally saying to him, Donald Trump is coming after his political opponents. Now, I just want to think this through. Yeah, on the other side of their mouth, they say that the Justice Department isn't political. So wait a minute. Wait. How can Donald Trump be going after his political opponents if the people that Donald Trump is going after are telling us that they aren't political? The idea that the media says that Donald Trump is going after his quote unquote political opponents are telling you that they politicize the information to go after Donald Trump to begin with. And then they back that up and saying it's his going on for revenge. And they forget to tell you that no one could possibly do anything for revenge that hasn't been that hasn't been wronged to start with. So they
went after his kids and threatened jail for life, Shady.
They have no empathy for that, dude. They have no empathy. That's what this is. This goes back to what we said earlier about they don't care about you or your 3 murdered family members, but they care about the 3 guys on the drug boat. Yeah. See, they only advocate for what it is that they are associated with. They're associated with Antifa. They're associated with the cartel. They're associated with the military-industrial complex. They're associated and embedded with all of these criminal networks around the world, and they also prop them up and never do anything about it. And whenever Trump starts to do something about it, then it's a problem. You're going after your political opponents. Well, you told me this wasn't a politicized process. So therefore, there's no way he could possibly be going after a political opponent. He's going after someone that wronged him. He's prosecuting people that committed crimes.
And with the D class, they said they knew it was fake. Knowingly.
They admitted
knowingly.
It. And he just said it in the mic drop moment. You're telling me that I have to sit here and say that, until they go through every single one of these people's wives' underwear drawer, then it's not even. Whether it be Comey, whether it be Bolton, it looks like we might be getting a Bolton indictment today, guys, by the way, maybe today, tomorrow coming up. And then now Jeff just made the post about the associations with Pence. So we could be seeing some associations with Pence. And then Jeff made the comment on Twitter about, wasn't it the Badlands media people that were telling us that Pence was a white hat? Boy, did that really did that age well?
Yeah, let's but we the media and devolution people, Badlands, said Pence was a white hat. Breaking, former Vice President Mike Pence has been implicated in the DOJ's investigation of former National Security Advisor John Bolton related to Pence's framing of General Flynn to get him fired. His illegal possessions of classified documents. It has nothing to do with Flynn. Okay, Joshua, just going to tell you that right now. Bolton recently described Pence as a consistent ally during Trump's. I didn't even read that part, so this has nothing to do with framing of General Flynn lied. Okay,
they're trying to throw that in there and act like that's relevant.
Yeah, Flynn lied to Pence and Trump. Okay, so General Flynn has nothing to do with this part.
This was the media story. The General Flynn lying to Pence was a media story. That didn't have anything to do with the reason he was really fired. He was really fired for not telling Trump that Kislyak had called a week earlier, explaining to him that Putin wanted a meeting.
Yeah, so crazy, guys. Anyways, so these people, we need to wait for the news. We only do with facts. Everybody's opinion, Shady Grove, has been like, Caroline is in here saying that these Twitter spaces are just pure garbage.
They are.
Everybody is is nuts. It's a cesspool, Shady. It's poison.
They're all know-it-alls. They all say things. They all say complete BS with the intent like they know stuff. This is no different than Alex Jones. This is the reason that Q explained to you that there's no back channels. This is the reason that the MG show understands that there's no back channels. Alex Jones not communicating with the Trump administration. General Flynn not communicating with the Trump administration. Steve Bannon not communicating with the Trump administration. None of these people that are claiming that they have inside intel are communicating with the Trump administration. And now I see what Q was saying even a little clearer to say it for the future. No. What we're going to do is we're going to ice them all out. We're going to bring in this beautiful lady. Her name is Susie Wiles, and we're going to keep them all away from Donald Trump. And then you guys are going to be able to slice them up out there in the court of public opinion.
And it must be done organically, guys. And we're doing it. You're doing it, and by the book. All right, so Trump posted he has concluded his telephone conversation with President Vladimir Putin of Russia, and it was a very productive one. President Putin congratulated me and the United States on a great accomplishment of peace in the Middle East, something that he said has been dreamed of for centuries. I actually believe that the success in the Middle East will help in our negotiation in attaining an end to the war with Russia and Ukraine. President Putin thanked the First Lady Melania for her involvement with children. He was very appreciative and said that this will continue. We also spent a great deal of time talking about the trade between Russia and the United States and when the war with Ukraine is over. At the conclusion of the call, we agreed that there will be a meeting of our high-level advisors next week. The United States initial meeting will be led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, together with various other people to be designated. A meeting location is to be determined. President Putin and I will then meet in an agreed upon location, Budapest, Hungary, to see. Okay, so the location is Budapest, Hungary, to see if we can bring this inglorious war between Russia and Ukraine to an end. President Zelensky and I will be meeting tomorrow in the Oval Office, where we will discuss my conversation with President Putin and much more. I believe great progress was made with today's telephone conversation.
Wow. Diplomacy.
Yeah, that is what it is. And also, Shady Grove, if Hamas continues to kill people in Gaza, which was not the deal, we will have no choice but to go in and kill them. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Wow.
Not playing around, is he, Shady?
No, he's not playing around, and I think that we know that Hamas is not going to disarm, and so we're getting ready to go in there and we're going to obliterate them, and anybody that's associated with Hamas has now signed your death warrant.
Yeah.
So, all the people, the next level of, Israel mind-bending nut jobs freaking out is on its way, so prepare.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, guys. Just follow the facts. It's really all we got to do. What is it, Yeti? It is day 15 of the Democrat shutdown, Shady.
Wow. Cranking
them out. And we're going to be out of here. It is Thursday, Shady. Happy Thursday. Glad you're back today. Get all your issues squared away. Truth for Freedom, youtube.com/c/truth for freedom will get you to that channel. Go subscribe, guys. Somebody's going to drop the link right here. We'll see you tomorrow, Shady.
Thank you guys so much. Much love. And here we go. We're on the march. MG show.
Over the target, as usual. Boom.
Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. When I dance, I do the Margarita. Shake it on my trailer campaign now. They all love me, cause I'm Dante, and every good American wants me. Votes for me, Joe just beat on himself the third time this week. Votes for me, Joe just beat on himself the third time this week. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. Margarita, 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 hey. Margarita, 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 hey. I am not trying to seduce you. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. When I dance, I do the Margarita. Shake it on my trailer campaign now. They all love me, cause I'm Dante, and every good American wants me. Votes for me, Joe just beat on himself the third time this week. Votes for me, Joe just beat on himself the third time this week. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. Campbell is never gonna beat me in in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna be me in November. Hey, Margarina. Margarina, 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 hey. Margarina, 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 hey.
www.mg.show. Aight.
I'll eat your ass. I will.